My collection and game rooms are finally full of color. We are turning these rooms into my anime weeb dream rooms thanks to these Govee smart lights that we've installed and tested. Everything from ceiling lights to neon rope lights. It's kind of like a unicorn just puked up all over the place, and honestly, I'm okay because that's totally my vibe.
By the way, if you are a big fan of Sailor Moon or anime and Japanese pop culture in general, you should definitely check out my secondary channel, which is youtube.com/SailorSnubs. I'll put the link down below, but you can also see it right here on the screen.
Big shout out to Govee for sending over some of these products for testing, including the ceiling light and one of the rope lights. I did purchase a bunch of those myself as well, but as always, my opinions are my own and the brand has no editorial control. I do have some really great discounts available below, so click on those links for the current sale prices. So I want to start with the most practical of the bunch. It's this smart ceiling light. I do have the square version, hence the square model here. They also sell a round one too. It kind of just depends on your aesthetic. The main light is RGB plus WW, while the back light uses RGBIC. So not only is it colorful and bright, but you can also layer all sorts of ambient glows. The brightness on here is adjustable from 1% all the way up to 100%, which is great for whatever kind of temperature and aesthetic you're going for. The color temperatures also range from a warm 2200K all the way up to a daylight white 6500K, which is really nice for a studio. It works best in a 15 to 20 square meter room, so that would be like your bedrooms, your living room, or an office space. In my case, we decided to put this in our gaming cave, and now we have tons of lighting for our Magic the Gathering group nights. That's really important to me as well. I needed something that was nice and bright because oftentimes it's hard to read those foil cards whenever you put them in a really like holographic card sleeve. So it's nice to have a nice bright light right above you. This light also works with Alexa, Google Assistant, and Matter, or you can also control it with the Govee Home app. That's my preference because you can set custom schedules so the light mimics like sunrise in the morning and then winds you down at night, or you can change it depending on your vibe for that night. Like for our game nights, sometimes I want it to look more like a cave, medieval atmosphere, and I can change the colors based on that. In the app, there's over 70 different scene modes. There's a circadian rhythm lighting. There's CRI 94 for accurate colors. And my favorite part is it was so ridiculously easy to install. I had my husband help me out with it because he prefers when he does all the wiring for the house. But honestly, I didn't have to do any wire twisting. They have these orange locking buckles that come in the box, and those things are so like high-end and fancy and futuristic looking. They just let you lock the wires into place instead of having to screw them all into those little end caps. And it also screws directly into a traditional electrical box as you would expect, so it's really uncomplicated. Like the whole experience of installing this thing, the entire time I was like, wow, this is the easiest light we have ever installed in our house, and we have installed every single third-party light that we have in our household. So far, this was the easiest one to do. It was very, very impressive. It also looks really modern. It's safe with flame-retardant materials, and it adds legit mood lighting while being functional for like actually seeing all the things in your room. So I was really, really impressed with this light. Now, if you're finding this video helpful, a subscribe would mean so much to me. Subscribing is a very simple way of showing me which videos you find helpful and valuable. It also shows me which direction I should take my tech channel in. Also, a big Patreon shout out to all my newest patrons. You can join them and support my channel by going over to patreon.com/Shannon Morse. For perks like early video access, you'll get early video access to this one, as well as my private Discord. Now, as usual, all the videos on my channel are free to watch, and I thank my YouTube members and my patrons for making that possible. All right, so now that we're done with the game room lighting, I want to move upstairs to my Sailor Moon collection room. I have some RGB strip lights in there. First off, we have the Govee Strip Light Light 2 Pro. This one ranges from $59.99 up to $100. These are also on sale right now as well. Now mine is the 16.4 foot version, which is $99.99. This one uses a 5-in-1 RGBIC plus technology, meaning that it can display multiple colors all at once with this really super smooth blending. And you also get 2700K up to 6500K true whites, or that nice warm temperature. And you also have over 16 million colors to choose from. Now these ones are also really customizable because they are cuttable with segmented control up to 50 different segments, which is quite a bit. Plus there's also a DIY mode, so you can change it up however you prefer. Now similar to the ceiling light, there's also 100 plus presets for this one, plus you have a dynamic music sync with an onboard mic. Now my preference is just to use these for a rainbowy vibe because that's the Sailor Moon room, but if I wanted to listen to music and have these sync up, I totally could. These also support Dream View, which is Govee's special Dream View, so you can sync multiple Govee devices in the application for a whole home vibe, so everything would match up and change the different colors all simultaneously. So this is the strip light that you would want if you are decking out a gaming setup, if you want to put them behind your TV stand, or if you want to line your shelves for a collection aesthetic like I did. It's also cuttable, it's extendable, so you can add additional extensions, and it's also really flexible, enough for like holiday setups as well. I also really appreciate how smooth and small the strips are, so they easily fit inside my cabinets along with that glass shelving, and they don't cause any friction against the glass, which was something that was highly concerning for me, because if a strip light has open-ended LEDs that could scratch the surface of the glass, that could cause friction on the glass and potentially make the glass break. So I wanted something that had a nice smooth front surface to it, and the Govee strip is exactly that. Now next is this Govee COB Strip Light Pro with prices ranging from $99.99 up to $150 depending on length. Yes, these are more expensive. Mine is the 16.4 foot model for $149.99, but there's also a 9.8 foot version for $99.99, and again, these are also on sale. Now COB means chip on board, so this thing crams in 1,260 LEDs per meter, so instead of seeing little dots of light, you're getting this super smooth continuous lighting. The tech in these are RGBIC plus W for vibrant colors, and you also get the soft whites, and the rope includes 12 customizable segments per meter with 16 million colors. These are rated to last 30,000 plus hours, and they're also encased in this really soft silicone sleeve for spotless diffusion, which makes them look really beautiful if you have open shelving where you can actually see the ropes from the front of your collection. So this is why I bought these ones, for the customization, the ease of use whenever I'm bending them around inside the shelves, and because they have that smooth diffusion. So when you're looking at the collection and you're looking at all the different components inside those shelves, you see the strip, but you don't see all the separate little lights. All you see is just a really beautiful diffused light going around the edges. It looks really lovely, and it looks very, very professional. These also work with Matter, Alexa, Google Assistant, and the Govee Home app. Now this is easily my favorite strip if you want professional looking accent lighting without all those different hot spots. It's really bright, it's seamless, and honestly it looks way more expensive than it actually is, especially if you get them on sale. Now for my moon shape, I went with the Govee Neon Rope Light 2, which starts at $69.99. So if you're into shaping lights into custom designs, and you don't have to do a moon, you could do even more advanced shapes, the Neon Rope Light 2 is definitely the one for you. I actually saw these in person at CES and I was totally sold on them. I immediately knew I wanted to make a moon out of one of these. They're super flexible, and you can actually like even make a pretty sharp edge whenever you're bending them around to make your shapes. They're made out of a softer material than the first generation of these rope lights. They're also 14% more flexible, and they are easier to bend with upgraded clips. Now, I was surprised because the included clips actually do stick to my painted walls, though I did find myself using a lot more clips than I thought that I would actually need, but luckily in the box you get tons of clips. There are some really cool perks in the app too. For example, they have this shape mapping technology, so you can snap a picture of your design in the app and it automatically applies effects to match your custom shape. There's also an AI lighting bot. Yes, AI is in the RGB lights. You can input text, voice, or even images, and it generates lighting effects based on whatever the output would be. And for regular usage, there's tons of different lighting modes. Like, you have 64 presets, there's dynamic RGBIC, it's matter compatible. I've actually had this Govee moon set up on my wall for well over a year. I actually set this up last year. It has not fell off, and the lighting still looks as bright as the day I got it. So yeah, I definitely can recommend these. All right, lastly on my video all about unicorns puking all over my house are these Govee Glide Hexa light panels, which start at $189.99. Now, these are modular hexagon wall panels. They come with 10 different panels in a box, and you don't have to use all of them if you don't want to in your shape, but I do recommend that you do. You can arrange them however you want into all sorts of different shapes and kind of just let your creativity go wild with them. The cool thing about these is that they are RGBIC, so each edge can light up differently, giving you like really pretty gradients that flow from one Hexa panel into the other one. There's also over 6 music sync modes, animated scene effects, and app recognition of panel layout. So for these ones, you also control them via the Govee app, and that's also where you set them up. They also run with Alexa or Google Assistant, and you can also share or download user-made effects too. They're really bold, very dynamic, and they also kind of double as wall art. Just make sure that you press really hard when sticking them onto your wall, otherwise gravity is going to win. In my case, the included sticky panels for the back of these things were super frustrating because they kept on popping off and just falling behind my shelving units, and honestly sometimes onto my collectibles, which stressed me out. Eventually I just gave up on the sticky panels that came in the box. I ripped them all off, or I Goo Gone them all off, and I replaced them with my own double-sided heavy-duty adhesive tape strips. The included stickers just do not stick to walls, especially if you have that like orange peel type of wall like I do, which on the one hand, I was not expecting them to stick super well onto those walls because they're not recommended for textured walls, but I'm not the only one complaining about that. So definitely replace the sticky panels that come with them, especially if you have an orange peel type wall like I do. I've also had these ones for over a year too, and since I have replaced those with the double-sided tape, they've worked a lot better and they have not fallen off since then. Now, I originally bought these because they remind me of the 1990s Sailor Moon anime aesthetic with those little bubbles and out of focus lights in the background. It very much reminds me of like anime watercolor backgrounds that you get in those 1990s animes. So for me, it was like really pretty and very nostalgic. Okay, so after living in this RGB unicorn wonderland rainbow household for a few weeks for the newest ones, and then with my old ones for over a year, this is my verdict. If you want functional and stylish, the ceiling light is awesome for that. It looks beautiful. For gaming setups or vibes, the Strip Light 2 Pro is very versatile and it looks lovely. If you want pro grade accent lighting, especially if you can see the strip, the Govee Strip Light Pro is lovely. Also, if you're creative and you're into like making little shapes, the Neon Rope 2 is definitely one to go with, especially since you can do those sharp edges and really adjust the shapes that you want to come up with. And if you want something that's creative but also has that like hexagon gaming light setup, the Hexa panels very much steal the show. I'll probably add more RGB lights to my studio, so let me know if there's any particular ones that you've had your eye on and you want to see reviewed. I have not delved into the whole like external house lighting yet, but Govee has some of those too, and I am curious about like how well those would perform, especially in an environment like Colorado where we get blizzards. So that would be an interesting thing to delve into. But let me know if there's any that you want me to delve into. Comment down below and don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye, y'all.